Welcome back, Rage Nation. Got myself Pete here.
That's not really exciting.
You got Senior Dixon.
I don't think that's appropriate.
And we got Monsieur Leopard.
Explorers deserved it. No.
Absolutely.
I was disgusted. I cannot believe they've done this.
Why is wacky? Why is that good? It's just nonsense.
I disagree on that. That's not possible.
We're getting the band back together. We're on a mission. Yeah.
Now we've got a whole new list of things to complain about.
Welcome back, Rage Nation. We are at it again. Got myself Pete here, and we have with us on tap Monsignor Dixon. Got a couple in the chat as well, so we're ready to get this show going, Dixon. Dixon, so I feel like today we're talking about one of your favorite topics.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, like we caught on to it fairly early. That everybody needs to scheme. Dropping scheme markers left and right is actually very good for the game because a bunch of the schemes either get countered or are passed by dropping scheme markers. And then somehow we got to the point that we're like, wait, these models that are really good at being beaters are also really good at scheming. And I just started saying beater schemers just to make the conversation faster.
And it's becoming a thing.
Just
becoming a thing.
And then the more and more we talk about it, we're like, yeah, no, these models are the key thing that's going to denote who is going to be the better crew.
You're making fetch work.
I'm making fetch work. But yeah, no, literally every game that I've seen or played, beater schemers are always key, regardless of what the mission is.
Yeah, I think the big thing about it is that GG4, not only is it so scheme heavy, there's just a lot of scheming that you need to do with the strategies and with the actual schemes, but it also opened up the window for scheme runners, which I think then opens up the window for these models that, they were good last Gaining Grounds, but the fact that they can scheme and, kill some of these little things is definitely a positive.
Yeah, and the thing is that we've had beaters before that were very mobile and killed the schemers. This has been around for the entirety of M3E. We talked about First Mate for a bunch of our games, so it's not new. But in this GG, it is the thing that's making winning easier. It is the defining, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we'll get into that. But before we do, make sure that you guys are checking us out. You can do that by checking out our YouTube channel where we're putting videos out. Took about a week and a half break here. Got a video that'll probably be dropping here soon. I think I'm going to do an unpack video here, posting that, if not this week, early next week on unpacking Maw Tucket. So that'll be fun for you Maw players. And then we do have bat reps. Dixon and I have been grinding out some games, and we're probably about ready to record. We tried to do one, but I wanted to punch Dixon through the screen with Zoraida, so we didn't finish recording that one. So that's right on brand. So yep. Make sure you're checking out our video content there as we post it. And then, of course, our Discord channel is always popping. We got a lot of people from different parts of the world. So it's funny. I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up and there'll just be a ton of, Discord conversations. So that's always fun to see.
And an additional part about our Discord, now that you said that, and the battle reports, we stream our battle reports, and you're more than welcome to join. Just, mute yourself, and you can watch it, because Pete is sharing his screen when we're doing that. That way it's easier to follow through.
Yeah, if you don't have Vassal and you just want to watch us play Vassal, I started when Dixon and I play. I just share my screen on Discord, so that way people that want to watch it can just watch it and just, kind of enjoy what's going on. And yeah, it's been fun because I think one of the ones we did last week, we had 6 people in there watching us play. It's pretty good. But that being said, also make sure that you check us out. We do have Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. And then finally, if you want to support us directly, you can do that patreon.com/RageQuitWire, where you can support us for as little as $1. And you get cool benefits like getting the episodes early. I've had people that join specifically for that because we give it at least a day early. So that's always good for our patrons. And then just like we have a couple patrons in the chat now, chewing our ear off and kind of talking about airbrushes at the moment. You can ask questions while we're chatting. We put a lot of the things that they post in the chat in the episodes. So definitely, if you want to be part of that discussion, become a patron. Doesn't cost a bunch, and we appreciate the support. And then finally, you can use our affiliation link through Wyrd if you buy stuff through them. And that's give us your money, please. Thank you, wyrd.com/ragequitwire. Get a small portion of that. Helps Pete buy the entire Reser faction for the chagrin of everybody on the internet. Yeah, so getting into this episode, we do want to recognize how good schemer beaters are. So when we talk about that on this show for this Gaining Ground specifically, we are kind of talking about models that can go off and run and do schemes. So they can interact with the ballots, they can drop scheme markers to score VPs, they can drop the plant explosive markers, they can steal cloak and dagger things, whatever, right? So, but the second part of that, is beating. So that means when I play Archie and I'm going around and I'm scheming and stuff, I'm like, oh, cool. There's a little scheme runner here. I think yesterday a prime target for Archie would have been the bookkeeper for playing against Story. So I think that's just a good example of just a scheme reader. You can just run off. You're very mobile. You can scheme and score VPs that way. But also when the opportunity presents itself, you can punch the crap out of people and kill models.
And I want to clarify, like, it's so important that for the high mobility of these beater schemers, they don't have to be tanky. If they're tanky, that's even better. But like, the fact is that if they move like 16 inches, that's probably the first step. And then the second step is, can they hit, a minimum 3 or a top end of 5 or 6? 6 is preferred.
Well, and I want people to recognize the Gaining Grounds we're in too, because I think some people still have the Gaining Grounds 3 mindset of like, I'm going to sit, fight, and kill.
Yeah.
And there's been times where I've recognized I'm starting to get into a brawl. And I'm like, okay, if I do this, because I'm playing Molly, and Molly doesn't really want to brawl that way. And unless I bring like, the Hanged or something. But besides that, the normal models in Molly, I'm like, okay, I don't really want to sit here and fight. I kind of want to pick you off and go score my VPs. And what I've realized so far in Gaining Grounds 4 is you can alleviate some of the killing of your models by putting your AP into scoring through scheming. So sometimes instead of punching your opponent, specifically, I think we were playing ballots the other day, and I was like, you want to know what? If I don't want to get hit that much, let me go ahead and stock up some of these ballots. And that's going to force my opponent to interact to also stuff the ballots. And they only have so many, actions per turn. So if I'm making them interact with the ballots, that's going to force them to then stop hitting me, essentially,
Yeah. The last one we played was Titania, but I wanted to point out I think it was like 4 or 5 games before, we played with Zoraida against Molly.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost that game. I think it was like by 4 points because I just could not figure out how to touch past a certain point on the map. So even though that I could obey, the terrain matters a lot now. So I don't know. You did a great job at that, by the way. Like, that game, I'm still thinking about it every now and then because I'm like, is there something I could have done? Like, just concentrate on one side or the other instead of trying to control the middle? Because that's what you did. You literally just spread out to the far corners of the map, and then Zoraida had to make a decision, and I just didn't do the right one.
Yeah, and I was playing against... Who else did I play? They were doing an Obey Master. Who was it?
Probably Yanlo or something like that?
No, it was... man, what was what are some Obey Masters? Do I have the game?
Tell me the faction, then I can help you.
I honestly can't. I just remember. So anyways.
Okay, so 10 Thunders is Misaki and Yanlo. And there's one more I can't remember right now either. And then Neverborn is obviously Zoraida. In Guild, it's either Elite or Marshall. In Resurrectionist is Von Stuck, technically. Not really, but technically. And there's another one. Jeez, I'm trying to think. I can't think.
Anyways,
never mind. Continue.
I don't remember who it was specifically, but we were playing a game and they were playing an Obey Master, and literally they were trying to get in position to obey my stuff as well as their stuff, and I really just didn't give them anything. Right? I pretty much gave them. I was playing against Hamlin. That's what it was. I was playing against Jim. So I was playing Hamlin too. And the only option he had to obey was Molly, and you can't obey Molly. And everything else was hiding around buildings, or it was on the extreme corners. And I think he obeyed Datsuba once, and that was about it.
Yep. Yep. I mean, obeying Piper is, in my opinion, worse than other obey masters, but it is an obey.
It was in ballots, so I think he was trying to test that out to see if forcing people to vote was good, And that's kind of the problem. That's kind of the problem with, obey masters is you got to make it worth your obey actions. And I don't know if voting is always what you want to do with that obey action, but it's good when you have the opportunity. But go ahead.
No, all I was gonna say is like we're having a conversation on the chat here, and Loki actually put something very important in my head, which was remember that I played Titania for just obeying and interacting through my own models. I don't know if you remember that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's actually something to look forward to, because like Loki said, Zoraida 2 is probably gonna make another comeback, and I'm like, yeah, because obeying your own models is or giving extra actions to your models is gonna be huge. There are two masters that I'm thinking about that I need to test. One of them is Dreamer 2 because of all the shenanigans with dropping scheme markers, and the other one is Zip 2 because of if you draw a card, you can reveal it to do an interact. I think is the trick. Do you remember?
Yep. And another one I was excited to do eventually into Gaining Grounds for is Colette 2. I think Colette 2 is going to be really good in this GG.
There you go. That's another one. Yeah. For sure. I'm excited about that.
But we already did an Obey episode, so we're talking about Schemer Beater, so...
Well, I think it matters to say these things, because we are going to start with masters that are beater schemers that can beat out even the Obey master. So even though we have a lot of the Obey stuff in our heads, we want to talk about beater schemers with this in context.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and start talking about some of these masters that are just good at the scheming aspect of things, but then also are just really good at fighting. So I don't know if anything pops out in your head automatically.
Since there's so little... few of them, I think we should just say by faction, just very fast. It's like in Arcanist, who are you afraid of that would jump out like that? Because I know for a fact, like we got Neverborn, 10 Thunders, and like freaking those in our minds. But like, I don't think there's anybody other than like Karis. Is there anybody you're afraid of that's gonna be a beater schemer?
I think Marcus too could do it.
I guess. I don't know. I prefer him so much in Neverborn that I often don't think about him, but you're right.
Yeah, but I think Karis is the big one, right? Because she's flying, she has run and gun, and she kills stuff and then goes and scores, wins the day, if you will.
Yeah. No, and she has ways to like make those models that she kills into points, even if she doesn't drop scheme markers that easily.
Yeah, and she also has, pyro markers for things like deathbeds, so that's a good option for her scheming as well.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. That's exactly what I wanted to talk about after.
Yep. So I think Karis is probably the big schemer beater. She's mobile, fast, and she also is good at denial as well because she has Up We Go, so she can just move things off of points and win the day that way.
Yeah, and the reason why I mention her is because as a secondary master, she might actually be the pick. Because you can still play Performer, which is big on the extra action stuff that we were talking about earlier. But then you still have that beater schema that cannot be controlled.
Yeah, I like the idea of picking one per faction, so let's do that just so we don't spend a ton
of
time
I don't disagree.
Masters.
That's why I wanted to go one per faction, because I don't think there's many.
Yeah. All right, well, what about Bayou?
See, that's the thing. Like, in Bayou, you just have Maw do the thing, but like there's so many options. Zip, a fantastic option, out of keyword. You don't even have to like Zip 1. Just pick Zip 1 and double Master's environment, right? Mm-hmm. Or am I wrong? Like, that's my pick.
Yeah, I mean, if you go Zip 1, he's good at denial. He's not good at scoring schemes, though.
By killing the model.
Killing them, and he can get models out of position for things like take prisoner. So he can get some schemes, but he's not actually scheming, like interacting. So I don't think you can pick Zip 1.
Really? Okay, so who would you pick then?
Honestly, if I was going to pick one, It's a
It's
little
hard.
it's a little light on the beater, but he can. I would pick Brewmaster 2
Not
because he.
mobile enough.
What do you mean he's not mobile enough, man? It's his whole shtick.
Okay, fair.
He put
So
like the poison pushes him around, but the other thing you do with it is you're putting out poison that's ticking down. His staff actually isn't bad because negatives count as positives. So 2, 3, 4 usually is 4 damage, and you're pushing models around, so you can push them in the poison, do more damage eventually. And then the big thing that I think's bigger in this GG is actually Drunken Clarity, because
Okay.
you can reduce the poison of a model, and this is not resisted, so you can do it to enemy models too. And you just reduce it by 2, and it drops a scheme marker within 1 inch. So this is a way that you could score and snare. This is a way you could do some of those other, get far out scheme markers down.
Yeah.
So he's not the heaviest beater, but I've done some good damage to a lot of models with Moonshiner.
I think the other thing that it's worth mentioning in his card now that I'm looking at it, he has a trigger for like a 6 of Rams to remove a scheme marker within 8 inches of him
Yep.
from the
To get a soul stone.
Yeah. That's,
Yes, a little bit of
I don't
denial
know.
there too. Plus, you got 12 cups of coffee you can throw on them, so that also is removing schemes.
So yeah, I mean, soon I'm gonna be, like I said, I need to start looking into that because I want to play Bayou eventually.
Yeah, so I mean, Maw is always good. You could go with Maw on this too. Just because the only problem is she needs help with the mobility. She's besides her diving charge, she's not the most mobile, and obviously, she can scamper.
Yeah, but she
But-
can always get like Alphonse or Lenny.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You would need to bring something to help her be mobile.
Yep.
She's not innately mobile though.
Yep. I agree.
All right, so I don't know that one.
You're not convinced.
I just don't know. Bayou's tough. Bayou has a lot of masters who, if they're a beater, they're not as mobile,
Yeah.
and if they're a schemer, they're not as beady.
Yeah, and to mention it because like Loki actually he says maybe Ulix too because he has a good bow. I don't think that good guns make for good beater schemers.
Yeah,
because
he's
they're not getting
he's
to
great
the
at scheme.
point.
Well, I think good schemers have to be usually mobile and efficient. And just because you have like a good attack and you can scheme doesn't make you a good beater schemer. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I agree.
Like there has to be something on the card that removes or drops or makes it easy to interact or something along those lines.
So he did mention Fisher Folk. That's the last one we're gonna mention, but I believe that is a good pick if you're not thinking about fighting. What do you think?
Yeah, Fisher Folk are good, but the problem I always have with Fisher Folk is it doesn't seem like a master when it's on the table. It seems like it's a good henchman. Like, it just doesn't seem as powerful as a master should be for what its AP is.
Right. Okay, I know I agree with you with that. Okay, so
It's a great schemer, but when you do that with your master, and then sometimes it just doesn't feel like a lot because its damage is kind of like, okay, I'm 2, 4, 5. It's very mobile. 2, 3, 4 on Fishing with Dynamite. Sillard Stomp's great. It's just it's almost there. I wish it had a little bit more punch, and then it would be super good.
I mean, I would still keep it in mind for a secondary master because he eats schemes like it's his job. So if the pool is for that, then it is an option. But yeah, no, okay. So Bayou, not great picks.
I don't have one for Bayou. I mean, you could do Zip 1, but once again, you can't interact, so that takes away half of the equation sometimes.
You can do Zip 2, but then Zip 2 doesn't have the
He's not as beady.
panache. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's go to Explorers. Anybody stand out here as far as a beater schemer?
Oh yeah, we talked about him at length when we were talking about bands. McCabe, the man, the myth, the legend.
You're talking about the title, of course, right?
Oh, of course. That's the only thing that we think about. I'm joking. Actually, to be fair, we have to think about the horse sometimes because the horse does ignore everything and it is faster. Just
All right, so how is he helping out with scheming?
He kills the crap out of something and drops scheme markers and also draws cards. Like, I mean, it's not rocket science on him. He's just straight up value making machine.
Yeah, I mean, he's surprisingly mobile. A lot of his stuff doesn't really care too much about like terrain and stuff.
Correct.
Everything's getting fast, so if you're fast, you can scheme more. So he
Yep.
just helps generate a crap ton of AP. And like you said, you're drawing cards, so that helps you find things. You're putting
Yep.
out the upgrades to deny your opponent. Your opponents are -1 stat. So, and not to mention, he just hands out stun on a stick. So that's really good.
Yep, yep. And if you're playing the horse, he hands out slow and stagger on a stick. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's options here for him.
Well, and plus, it's just a lot of options. His keyword's really solid. I think there's a lot to be said for some of the other masters in there, but I would probably lean towards McCabe too. I think actually I would go close second to probably Anya 1.
Anya 1 for the secondary master. She is cheap and
Well,
fast.
I don't
think
mean
you
for
have
a,
a point.
I don't mean for a secondary master, even though you could do that. I'm just talking about she's kind of a second runner up to me for a good beater schemer for the crew, because
Oh.
she puts down a crap ton of scheme markers. She's mobile as heck. She has things like hostile work environment, so it makes it hard for you to do things in there.
Expansionist is great.
And not only that, her schemes are hazardous terrain, so have fun getting wrecked by that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's a good thing I need to start looking into, because I haven't played Anya in forever. I want to say like 2 years, maybe more.
Yeah, she's good.
Oh yeah.
All right, going on to the guild. I don't even think this one's close.
Okay, I gotta hear you. What do you think? I know who I have in mind, but who do you have?
I think for beater schemer, I don't even think it's close with guild. I think it's Lucius too, and that's what it is.
Pete, why do you think that he's such a good beater schemer?
This man, this person of interest,
This mother.
dishonorable guild lawyer bringing fool. He's just good. I mean, he has secret passage. He puts down a scheme at the beginning of the turn. This isn't even just him. This is just it happens, which puts in a suit. He's got stat 7, so he can murder the crap out of things. If they're staggered, which he puts out staggered, and you can bring other things to put out staggered, you get a positive to the damage flips. Crit strike in there. He can ignore hard to kill and demise abilities.
Crit striking on a master that can get a positive on damage, and you can soul stone in. Double crit strike 7 damage on him. Yeah, he.
You don't even have to stone. You just have to be standing next to your stupid scheme.
I'm just saying, man, to get that second ram.
That's where I was like, well, at least Dixon has to spend a soul stone. Oh, since I'm standing next to my scheme from the beginning of turn, I get a free suit.
Yep. And I'll stone, and I'll just this 13 of tomes is now a double critical strike.
It is now a min 4 damage. Yeah, so stat 7, top end, 7, 8 damage if you get the red Joker. Plus, I actually think ignoring hard to kill and demise is really good in this edition as well. And why not? He has coordinated attack. I don't even know why that's there. That doesn't even need to be a thing.
Yeah.
Why are you drawn to these coordinated attack models? Who hurt you?
Who hurt me? I just like fun triggers. That's
I know
it.
you do. I think coordinated attack is probably your favorite trigger in the game.
It's close. Very, very close.
What's a trigger besides that you really like?
Good for a laugh. I don't know why, but it.
I mean, drawing cards is always good.
Yeah, it just makes me happy.
So yeah, he's just really good. Down the wrong path's good.
Yep. Multiple tools to help out kill that squishy model, because like cleaning up loose ends is actually key in a lot of matchups.
Yeah. So, and his stats are just really solid. 6-7. So 6 defense, 7 willpower. I have not killed Lucius yet.
Well, definitely when we play, and I'm playing him in guild, because I many times you got me down to like 3 to 4 health, and I just teleport 24 inches away from everything. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, right? That's why he's so flexible as a beater schemer, because it's like, oh crap, I'm being threatened. Let me go ahead and just teleport away. Whoop whoop.
Yep.
It's really good. And he still draws a bunch of cards with his crews because he has a lot of things on the back of his card that let models do actions.
Yes.
So you're not missing a ton of the card draw from the original.
Yeah. So both as a master leading a crew and as a secondary master, I think he's the answer. I think he's like, there is, unless somebody bans the keyword, in which case Marshall is literally right there. Like martial
so-
is a fantastic keyword for that too.
Yeah, so I don't even think that's close. Do you think going over to Neverborn, is it still him?
Nah, Neverborn it switches out. There's 2 masters that actually beat him out in that job.
Okay, well, what do you think?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I know Castore, the Fervent, and Nekima, the first version, both just like beat out Lucius. Now, that doesn't make Lucius not great in the faction. It's just these 2 are the defining beater schemers of the faction. You pick which one you want.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Castor's, and you're talking about Fervent specifically, he's fast, he's, stat 6. I think he ignores terrain, is that right? Yes, he does.
So just to clarify, because it's not even the stat 6. His keyword is about movement shenanigans. You can just move him out of activation 8-10 inches very easily by just quote unquote over healing him. So you don't even have to take that into account. But his damage, he gets ++ blast on a charge. He's stat 7. He's 2-inch reach. He flies. It's just a lot. And then the other side, like we said, is Nekima 1, both as a master and as a freaking secondary master. Nekima is still queen of the kingdom. She is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, she wants to kill stuff, but she's definitely mobile and fast enough to go scheme, right? Because she's flying move 6. She does have shove aside, so if you're let's say you're sitting on top of the plant explosive marker, she can just charge you, shove you aside, and now she can go ahead and be free to interact and pick up your plant explosive.
Yeah, and because of Frenzied Charge, she can charge one of her own models, get the shove aside that way just to increase her threat range by 4 inches. She's massive. Many, many ways to kill you. And if you're not 2-inch reach, she could then use the upgrade Inhuman Reflexes to just automatically do 1 point of damage every single time she charges. And she just crisscross a model to death.
Yeah.
And on top of the 357 on her, 356 on her card, which is gross. That moderate of 5 is gonna surprise a lot of people.
I'm looking at Outcast, and I'm not sure which way I go with Outcast.
We already know the answer is gonna be Vicky 2, at least in my experience. But I'm trying to think that there's gotta be somebody better, because we've seen Leviticus do it. But it's because they have a way to chuck Leviticus into one of the corners of the map and say, you deal with that crap. If you can now deal with Leviticus, have fun with that.
I'm almost kind of just leaning towards Terra just because she's so great at scheming and she can also fight a little puny little minion. Yeah. She's not going to kill anything usually important because she's only got a 2/3/5. But she can.
And I agree with you, and it just reminded me of our earlier conversation when we were talking about Bayou. And in Bayou, guess what happened? Not much in the choice department, because we were like, oh, maybe Zip. And Zip is in Outcast. I would not pick him in Outcast. Not as a secondary master or as a beater schemer. Literally, that's how high in the damage and mobility of Outcast Masters is.
I'm also looking at Von Schill 1, who could do both, right? He can go scheme and he can beat. But he's kind of like Maw, where it's he can give himself boots and then he can, jump with them and then go scheme and stuff.
Yep. And I see that Jeremy agrees with you.
Yeah. And so I kind of wanted to lean towards Von Schill, but I feel like it's tough though, because you want to spend you want to load up, so that's usually 1 or 2 of your actions, and then you leap with your bonus and then you scheme once. Maybe, I don't know.
I still think that he's a very good choice because he has leap on demand basically. Both versions of Chill is Salt to Taste, with the first version being a bit tankier, but having less choices, less damage choices. So I don't know. I agree with that assessment. It's just that I think Vix 2 happens to be the choice as a support master, both as a support master and as a beater schemer in her own right. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the thing about the Vix, and this is the same thing with Von Schill, is diving charge is pretty big for scheming.
Yep.
Makes it hard to get locked down. So I could see an argument for either one of those, for sure.
Yeah. That's why I said pick the taste, because bulldoze on the second one, diving charge on the first one, and both have access to leap. That's just gross in my opinion. And they do all of the damage. That is the keyword that does the most damage in the game.
Yep, and then going over to the Rezzers, I don't think this one's really a question either.
Oh really? Who's your pick?
I think you just go with Seamus. It's just...
Yay!
What'd you think I was going to say? Molly?
Oh god, no! I just wanted to hear you say it so I can go yay!
Because
Bro.
once again, it's secret passage. He has a huge gun that does 4, 6, 8 damage.
Yep.
You can put a hat on him just to make him a scheme marker.
That is the grossest thing. As a master and as a support master. Like, as a leader and a support master. Like, literally, this man just does everything. Like, I am... every single time you say, oh, I want to play Molly, it's like, I get why. You're having a lot of fun. She has a lot of answers. But in an environment like Captain Con where you're going to have double masters, I cannot see you not play Seamus. He's just that great.
Let's just say he's in the bag.
Yeah.
He is in the bag. He's going to Rhode Island.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's just, he's very violent. His bag of tools is also good. So, I mean, that's one of the things that you got to keep an eye out for, because there's situations where there's a lot of out of activation movement stuff, and sometimes people will move into Seamus's melee.
Yep.
And you got to ask your opponent, like, do you want to put it there? Because I get a free shot if you do.
Yeah, and so I was gonna say, and there's like really no reason not to like just put him in a corner and just have him do the corner by himself, because he can always relocate.
Yeah.
But now I have a thought in my head. Since he's gonna always be banned, because bans are there, and unless your opponent is just like that kind to you, what would be the secondary pick? It's because I think it's between Castore and freaking Mike Morning. What do you think?
I don't think
See,
McMorning's
that's
that good.
the question.
I don't think McMorning's that good of a schemer, though.
I don't think he's fast enough to be a schemer. Yeah, I think you're right.
Like, he has doctor's orders to move another 4. So he is mobile. Like, when I brought him as a second master, it was mobile, so I could kind of keep him in where I wanted him on the board, and he was never irrelevant.
Yeah.
But it's not fast enough to be like, oh, I'm going to go, X inches and, scheme, and then go another inches and scheme again or whatever.
Yeah. I do want to point out, Jeremy in the chat says Jack 2 is an honorable
I think
mention.
Jack 2 is actually pretty decent, I'm not going to lie.
Doesn't he have like multiple ways to get into crew? Yeah, an inaudible whisper, willpower attack that has on your heels.
Yeah,
That's pretty gross.
he's just more mobile. On your heels is definitely a thing. He has that 8-inch kind of can put out staggered if they fail the duel. Just pretty solid, yeah.
Yep, and burst of speed on his melee attack is always disgusting. Like, anybody that has burst of speed, that's something that you have to pay attention to.
Yeah, because they can charge and then just go wherever.
Correct. Because you don't have to hit an enemy model to get it off.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, 2, 3, 4 is good enough where you can kill. That's the thing I think people need to also realize is to be a good beater schemer. Like, you don't need like a huge spiky track, but as long as you get like, I think 2, 3, 4 is fine enough to kill most scheme runners in a couple swings.
I mean, I disagree with you on that. You have to have a form of doing damage enough that it's going to be minimum damage 3. Like, for example, we talk about Manos a lot. Manos has a way to do minimum damage.
Well, I think that's
3.
what makes you the best beater schemers is if you have min 3 and you can scheme, you're a pretty good beater schemer.
Yeah, so that's the reason why I kind of like want to look into that, because like Jeremy, he plays a mean Jackdaw, and if he's saying that Jackdaw can do damage, then there's something here that I have to start adding,
Yep. And then last faction we have is 10 Thunders. So which master do you think can beat and scheme there?
I mean, Lance is gonna hate me, but it's Lucas McCabe.
I don't agree with that. I think it's Misaki 1.
I don't agree.
The damage is so spiky and she's so mobile by herself. I think the difference is McCabe also supports his crew, whereas Misaki's kind of just like, I'm enabling Misaki.
I mean, I understand the logic.
Yeah, Lin 2's actually, so that's a good point. I will mention what what Jeremy said. Lin 2 is actually she is min 3 and she does scheme with the best of them.
Huh. Dang. Is it another 10 Thunders is spoiled for choices out of keyword a moment for like that's the secondary master thing? I think it's just that it's the fact that 10 Thunders is very good. Yeah, no problem. I'll continue real quick. So yeah, I think 10 Thunders is spoiled for choices for secondary master, so that's actually a good way to look at that. But like as a main master, I don't know. I would see Misaki as a secondary master, not as a main. I still think Wastrel's better, but story, that is a fantastic pick. Holy crap, that's a fantastic pick. Yeah, killing flankers, Lin 2 and the Hungry Darkness. How exactly? Okay, Jeremy, why the Hungry Darkness? Because I thought that as a totem you can't pick before having to pick the title. But if you pick the title, then you can't bring Huggy. Or am I wrong about that? Yeah, Lin 2 and the Hungry definitely the Hungry Darkness. That thing is fucking legendary. Not as a higher, but you shouted out Terra. Oh, as a master, Hungering Darkness. Abso-freaking-lutely, I agree with that shit. Oh my god, that's amazing. But yeah, shout out to Terra. That's true. Secondary master, not completely true, but as a main master, she can be anywhere she wants and do 5 damage to somebody. It's great. Why not, Terra? Why not? Yeah, losing the second activation makes her a bad secondary master pick. But you are right. As a main master, Terra is a beater schemer on crack. So sorry that I skipped that way too fast.
So those are the masters.
No. So we had to go a little bit back to Outcast. Jeremy mentioned that we forgot to talk about Terra as a master. As a leader of the crew, I mean. She's a fantastic beater schemer as a leader of the crew because she gets a secondary activation.
Yeah, I mentioned,
So
I mentioned her. I just didn't mention the second activation.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, in 10 Thunders, as a leader of the crew, Hungering Darkness. Like, that is disgusting. And yeah, oh, come on. You have played against Honeypot.
Darkness. Oh, no, it's good. That's kind of what I'm saying. Is like 10 Thunders has a lot of mobile, just hard-hitting, scheming crap.
Yeah, it's like one of the few masters in the game that can match the free core crew for damage.
Yeah, it's pretty
He
gross.
does a reliable 8 damage. Yeah, it's so gross. And he's not easy to kill unless you have anti-demise trickery or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what about Lin 2? What do you think? I agree with Lin 2, but what do you think?
Yeah, I was saying, I actually played against Lin 2 yesterday, and it's min 3 damage, but if you're slow, which the crew puts out, you can become min 4 damage pretty quick with her. And her and her crew are just very, very mobile. I'm going to pull up her card real quick.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, so I mean, she's just very mobile, does a lot of damage, a lot of movement shenanigans. Confiscated lore is pretty gross. Ending conditions, and she can just scheme just fine, and is just a really good fighting master.
Yeah,
I think she's a beater schemer because she she hits people really well, and she can move her crew around with her activation to set up scheming. So she doesn't necessarily have AP to scheme well, but her actions set up the rest of the crew to scheme really well. Because if you look at her actions, they don't like drop schemes, and she's not moving like a ton, but she can move other models, clear conditions, heal models, and just kind of neuter your opponent's, top of their fate deck a little bit as well.
Yeah, they're shockingly resilient.
Yeah.
The story side is very shockingly resilient.
All right, so we ended up doing a top 10 list for enforcers, and I feel like a lot of those models were actually beater schemer models.
Yeah, no, that's the reason why I wanted to mention it in our conversation, because something happened in the recording. I don't know if it's. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so yeah, in the conversation we were talking about the top 10 minions, and
I do want to say though, real quick before you continue with that statement, that we have the Nick Dub in the chat.
Oh my god.
It's a rule that whenever you see
Welcome
Nick Westbrook,
back, Nick.
you have to say the Nick Westbrook.
The Nick Westbrook. There's only one. There is literally only one.
So, yeah. Enforcer's top 10 list.
So, both our top 10 lists were actually affected by this because we very early on we noticed that trend. Then after that, the reason why we're not winning every game is because execution in this game is super important, right?
Yeah.
So, assuming the execution of the average tournament player, I based all those picks. Would you agree with some or all of those models?
Yeah, I feel like the Enforcer list is more heavy with beater schemers. The just general good models is, I think some of those are just schemers, or some of them are just, mobile, and they don't necessarily fight that well. So yeah, I don't know. I think the Enforcers, though, a lot of them are mobile and hit hard.
Yeah, and a lot of the minions that we picked are either make scheming a lot easier, defend very well against beater schemers, or a combination of both. Like, our number one minion, the reason why we picked it is because not only is he great at just moving long distances, but he doesn't get one-shotted very easily.
I think both of us have played a fair amount of games into Gaining Grounds 4 right now. So just give me one model right off the top where you're like, oh, I know this model has been really good at, scheming and punching models in the face.
Well, I mean, again, I would say let's just go real quick through the factions. We didn't take that long with the Masters, and I think we're going to take less with each faction. And since our top 10 didn't have a beater schemer for every faction, this should just be easy.
Okay, we'll start with Arcanist then.
Yeah. So in Arcanist, I think it's very easy to say it's the elemental wind golem, right? What do you think?
See, that's kind of tough though, because I feel like you could also do the same thing with like the Coryphée duet.
Oh, that's right. I always forget about the Coryphée duet, and that thing just wins games by itself.
Yeah, it's really good. So here, let me give you a couple models that I think are, and you can kind of let me know if one stands out. So I think we have the Wind Golem, we have the Coryphée duet. I think you could throw Howard Langston on there too, just because he has a lot of mobility and crap.
Yep, unimpeded, speed 5, 3 moves, something like that.
Yep, and then you could almost put a couple of the other golems on there too, because they're also mobiles, like the Metal Golem you could throw on there.
So the Metal Golem, if we're talking about in keyword, I agree. But if we're not talking about in keyword, I don't think so.
Okay. And anything else pop up? You also have the
Blessed of December.
Blessed of December. I was going to bring up as another one.
Yep.
And I think that's the few that stick out to me.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to point out real quick the reason why we always mention Blessed of December: speed 5, deadly pursuit, leap, and a damage track of 246.
Yeah, the damage is huge.
Yeah, which also has critical strike and pushes people off a point. So doing a casual 7 damage on a model
onslaught
if necessary. Like this model is very,
and it heals
very good.
itself.
And yes, there's an entire list of why the Blessed of December is here.
Yeah, I really like the Blessed of December. I think a lot of people forget about it. And I think this would be a good GG, even taking it out of keyword. Like, even though it would be 9 soulstones out of keyword, it's still really good, and you can easily get your point. I mean, there was a couple of times where I played it when I was doing Marcus, and it would just wreck your back lines.
Yeah, especially with Marcus, because it's stealth, armor 1, or whatever the heck you want to do with him.
Yeah, but that being said, the Wind Golem is definitely really good, and so is the Coryphée duet. So if I had to pick one, I think I probably do go with the Four Winds Golem just because of how good it is.
I mean, it's the same point cost outside of keyword, so I'm going to go with the Coryphée duet because if you can play a crew that doesn't have any armor, like the keyword is not any armor, and then you throw in the Coryphée duet, and all of a sudden it becomes an unkillable God-slaying monster.
I also think why the Coryphée duet is probably good, and it's tough for me. Like, it's really close between that and the Wind Golem.
Oh, yeah.
It is... Arcanists work really well with constructs.
Yes.
There's a lot of keywords that like that and like armor and can really abuse that, right? So that makes the Corfi duet very dangerous in a lot of keywords.
So I think, just to quickly sum it up, you pick the wing golem if you're planning on like eating small minions and playing against guns. You pick the Corfi duet whenever you just need a piece that will go into one side of the table and do whatever it wants.
Yeah, I think if you're playing against a crew specifically and they don't target like willpower, and it's like, oh, they just want, like I played against Barbaros and I put the Corfi duet on the table, and Barbaros just wants to punch stuff. So I was like, cool, you hit me with your 12, I'm gonna cheat in this 13, so you miss this attack. Have fun.
Yep.
So yeah, Corfis are really good. They get multiple activations if you can hold it off right. Because they dance apart and then you can dance them back together. Just really good.
Okay. You won very, very decisively.
Well, I think I like, probably because I play Sandeep, right, that I like the Wind Golem, but other keywords I definitely like the duet, so I could see that.
I mean, the reason why I mentioned the whole little models thing, if it's a crew, say for example, I don't know, something that we see often. You're playing against Dashel, and Dashel likes to summon a bunch of models, and every now and then an Executioner. Every single time you kill one of those with the Wing Golem, who targets height, you get a Soulstone back.
Yep.
That's the type of stuff that's actually very good.
Yep, for sure. So going into the Bayou, so a couple of beater schemers. Let's kind of go down the list here. I feel like Bayou's
I don't think there's any.
I mean, first mate.
It's not a... I mean, he's not an enforcer, but okay.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. We don't have to stick to just enforcers. I'm going to go through the list, though, and pull out everything. And we'll see if there's also any enforcers that do that. Hold on, I'm about halfway through. So we got the first mate. Beater schemers. Nope, that's not it. Nope.
That's not it.
Nope, hold on.
I'm just going to say... While you're thinking, Lucky Emissary, I'm just going to point that one out, because he is decently mobile. Oh, not decently. He's actually incredibly mobile, but as a beater schemer, I don't know. I wouldn't put him as a good one.
What do you think about the mechanized pork chop?
No.
No?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What about Maris?
She's great as a schemer. I would not make her a beater schemer.
She has Up We Go.
I know she has Up We Go and Flaming Bottle. Those two are fantastic abilities.
Okay, hold on. I'm almost done here.
You're almost done there. Yeah, I don't think... Bayou, I'm so sorry to tell you, but you gotta look into your whatchamacallit, henchmen and masters for beater schemers, and you don't even have that many good choices.
Man, I didn't realize it was this bad. Jeez.
It is, but I mean, I've been looking into it because I want to play Bayou, but I just couldn't figure it out.
What about the Spawn Mother?
That's a henchman, and no.
What would you say about a Swine Cursed?
No, it's not mobile. It can just tank. Loki Reed's like, I got one. Whiskey Golem.
Yeah, I think Whiskey Golem's pretty good. I haven't gotten to the W's yet, but I would put Whiskey Golem on that list for sure.
In what world? Why?
Because it has it can move with its bonus action, and it fights and it hangs around and it can scheme a little bit. Listen, we're trying to pick things out here, Dixon. There's not a lot going on. Actually, here's one that I think is a good one.
Okay.
I actually think it's a good one. It's not the best, but I think it's one of the things I got. And it is the Wild Boar.
No.
So, yeah. So hear me out. They're movement 6. They're fast. You can give them fast, right? Because they have Reckless. Okay. And then they're 2, 4, 5. And they have armor piercing and some other cool triggers.
Yeah.
They actually have a trigger to remove scheme markers with Always Eating.
Okay.
So, and they're unimpeded. That's a big thing. And they can charge more than once per activation. So, Wild Boar, the only problem is they're squishy, but that's not part of our criteria here. I think they're
And
actually
he's not
really
an
good.
enforcer.
I think they're really good for scheming, a little bit of anti-scheming, and they definitely kill. Like I will kill things with a wild boar. However, it might not be there to activate again because they are squishy.
Pete, this is for enforcers. So you've said like 4 things that are not enforcers.
Well, when I'm going through this, I'm not just listing enforcers. I'm looking at just
Okay.
overall in faction.
No, but for this specific part of the podcast, we were talking about enforcers real fast.
we're not going to go through every like type here and go through every faction though.
I mean, it literally won't take more than 20 minutes if you didn't just completely deviate and go into minions and henchmen.
That's because I don't see any henchmen I like for beating and scheming.
In the arms of an angel. Just accept it and move on, Pete. It will be faster. Oh, but yeah, no, I'm gonna go into explorers real quick because I think explorers is actually.
So are we just doing?
about
Are
the
we just
same-
doing everything, or are we actually just doing enforcers?
What are you talking about?
When we're going through right now, are we just doing enforcers, or are we just
Yeah,
doing
the idea
everything?
was to go through the enforcers of every faction because it's real fast. That was the entire idea for this segment. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I was gonna
fine.
say like there's only like 2 that I could potentially maybe think about it. One of them is in explorers, is the worm, and the other one is the Malifaux Rex. But I don't know how you feel about it. That seems like a little bit meh.
Why do you keep hating on the damned?
I mean, sure.
It's got
it's
got a spiky. It's got 246, man. That's a spike. It has crit strike, pouncing strike.
because the upgrades. Yeah, because none of the upgrades actually keep it alive. Like, can it do damage? Yeah, of course. It's just like
Okay, so once again, though, the criteria is not that the model is going to stay alive, and that is fantastic, Photon. I was actually going to bring that up too. Calypso and Dr. Beeb, really good.
Yeah, but they're 10 points and they have 6 health, so I don't know. I'm kind of like iffy on that.
They're armor 2, and you can bring back Calypso.
I mean, I'm still. My pick is the 2 that I mentioned. I'm not convinced. I think Explorers is in the same group as Bayou, where they don't have really
I don't agree with
great
that. I actually think
enforcer picks.
I think they have a lot of really good enforcer picks for it because they have the Dam, they have the Calypso and BB. You have what else they got here? Of course, you got the Emissary. Well, no, he's more of a beater. Never mind. Yeah, Jin's actually pretty decent at fighting. And going further
is that
down, like you said,
mean,
the Sandworm.
The Sandworm, yeah, that's what I said. Like the 2 that I can actually see as pick is the Sandworm because it can be anywhere on the table and do heinous amounts of damage, and maybe the Malifaux Rex, but that's me knowing that the rest of the community thinks that it's a bad model for some reason.
And the Damned even has a better damage track than the Worm.
Yes, but it dies to stiff breeze, and there's no easy
So
way
does
to
the
keep it
Worm.
alive. It's not like the Blessed December. Well, the Worm has a burrow trigger, and it can literally come out of any piece of severe terrain on the table. Like the Worm is amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, the only other one that I was like thinking about is maybe the Night Soul Creeper, but I wasn't even convinced.
All right, we're gonna have to disagree on that one. I do think that
I get it.
Calypso and BB are really good.
All right, it's a fine point. We don't have that much experience playing Explorers.
But I
guess-
think, I've been playing against Explorers a lot lately because Trevor. And Calypso and BB, I also think are just good because you can get like 6 AP with them in a turn. If you play them in
that's
keyword.
Not wrong. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point.
So I think the AP just like doing 6 actions in one turn is really good.
Yep.
I think the Night Silk is fine.
Me too, but like I'm trying to figure out if there's anything better than that, because like there's nothing quite like the other stuff that we've been talking about. Like once we get to Resurrectionists, it's just gonna be spoiled for choices because they have many good choices.
Yeah, I think Night Silk Creeper in that is better in some keywords than others. Like I think Night Silk Creeper in like a in the what's his face Cooper 2, I think is really good.
Okay, that's fair.
So I think you just got to pick that there. I guess we're going into guild now.
Yeah, in Guild, there's only two that are in my mind: the Pale Rider and the Lone Marshal. I don't think there's anybody else, but those picks are just incredible, regardless. What do you think?
I agree with that. I think you could make an
Chase you
argument
down.
maybe for the undercover reporter. But
Maybe.
I think you got the two there. I think it's really hard just to not bring those two in a lot of matchups just because they're really good. They're mobile. I would probably lean more towards the rider than the lone marshal because the lone marshal wants to shoot its gun. I don't
Yeah, yeah,
think
yeah,
the
but
lone
it has
marshal wants
ways.
to interact.
Correct. There's multiple ways that he has also to like just keep himself alive and get onto your side of the table to start doing things. But you're right. It usually does not want to use an action to drop a ski marker.
Yeah, whereas the Pale Rider, you can use the gun, but you can also just be like, I'm going to ride with me, walk and drop this scheme or something if you need to.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. I agree.
Neverborn?
Let's see. Neverborn. I mean, Kurgan. I'm joking. I'm joking. It's not the Kurgan, but like I always have to like mention the Kurgan because like holy crap, everybody's the
I
mother's
think you meant Killjoy.
Hey, hoopadoo. I don't know. In Neverborn, I don't. I think we're also in the same camp as Bayou and EVS. Like we have great choices in henchmen and in minions, but not so much in an enforcer
I'd go with the
for this
Bandersnatch.
specific job. No, it dies. This one dies even easier than
Okay,
the
hold
damn.
on. You got to stop. I think you have to stop with this whole it dies to a stiff breeze. Like we're saying,
Why?
can it kill something and can it scheme?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it can kill something in the time that it will take to kill it. In my experience, this thing doesn't survive. Even if you were to chuck it across the table and then get an activation as the last activation.
But the models that you're picking to go into, I think you do kill.
That's my point is this doesn't do it. I know it looks like it.
I think it does it better than the other options you have.
I don't think so. Cavern Nephilim, Mature Nephilim, they do the job significantly better for 2 points.
We're talking about enforcers now, right? We're talking
exactly
about
my point.
enforcers, not minions.
And I agree. And I specifically started. I think we're in the same camp as Explorers and Bayou. We just do this job with henchmen and minions. If I had to pick an enforcer, I would probably have to pick the emissary, and the emissary is not a very good schemer.
I'm gonna pick White Eyes.
Sure, you can do that, buddy. You can do that. So yeah, that's Neverborn to me.
Okay, I'll say Bandersnatch.
I know. You can be wrong.
You're not wrong. You're wrong. Your face is wrong.
Oh, he got me.
All right, outcasts for enforcers that are good with the beating and scheming.
I don't have enough experience here. I'm hoping that somebody in the chat can actually help me out here because I do not know anything in Outcast that can be a beater schemer.
Nothing Beast.
I mean, I guess that's not a bad choice. I wouldn't have thought about that, but that's a great choice. Photon says Ronin.
We're not. So I would agree if we did this the way I wanted to, but Dixon, we're doing enforcers first. And then
Dude, it's because it's...
You're good. I'm just kidding.
It's because I wanted to finish... No, I wanted to finish in a strong note, but like, yeah. I don't know why you said that.
But I would say, so since we're talking about enforcers, I do think the Nothing Beast is pretty good. Because it does hit like a truck and it pops up wherever you need to on the board. So, yes. Pretty good.
It used to be the Midnight Stalker, but the Midnight Stalker got nerfed into Oblivion. It is now a Yasunori
I wouldn't say
model.
Oblivion. You can. No, it's not. Get out of
when
here.
was the last time you saw it? I have not seen it.
I played it after it got nerfed. It's fine. It's just you have to be. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's still playable. It can get fast because you're going to be on the opponent's half. It has a leap that you just need a 3 masks for. And it has 2/3/4 with possible crit strike, decent showboating, drawing you a card. So you still bring it. You just can't be as egregiously like obnoxious with it. You have to play it way more conservative.
I mean, out of experience like this, I would like to say Zoo is the beater schemer that you can pick out a keyword if necessary, but I'm not. Again, I just don't have that much experience.
I don't know if Sue's mobile enough in himself. Well, he does have running gun, so I guess that's something.
Yeah, and critical strike and all that good stuff. Jeremy says, yeah, the Nothing Beasts and Ashes kind of fit this, or I suppose he says.
Yeah, Ashes just need a little setup, though. That's kind of their problem now, is you need a scrap marker somewhere.
Yeah, instead of removing Incorporeal from him, all they needed to do is make the damage from that trigger irreducible. That's it. That's all they needed to do. Make the damage from the trigger irreducible, and he would have been fixed.
All right, Enforcers for Rezzers. The king of that is going to be Archie.
Yep. Archie, Bet Noir, the
oh my goodness. Let's go through this list. Yeah, we got the Dead Rider, Archie, Bet Noir. What else we got here?
Dead Rider. In keyword Ikirio, because that totem is cracked.
I
mean, Lost Love doesn't really beat, so what else
exactly, yeah. Jin dependent. Oh my god, Jin dependent Goblin.
Yep, Yin is there.
Shockingly good model.
You can even argue like Rogue Necromancy's pretty decent at that.
I wish it was a little bit more resilient. After talking about him for a little bit, I played a couple of games against it, and using the knowledge that Cackle gave us, I have been killing it.
It's only defense 4, and it's not the most mobile. It has ambush, but it's got 5 movement, so that's something, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, this is the faction for the beater schemers, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Archie's just so freaking good at it.
Oh yeah.
The king. Instead of a pirate hat, he needs a crown.
I know, it's so good.
Well, because and this is where I think Archie should be the picture of this episode, because he can be self-sufficient, right? Because he can discard a card to heal up. He can't gain conditions, so he doesn't have to worry about that part of it. He is relatively easy to kill if you put the right model into him, but he's doing min 3, 4, 6 damage. And he has a lot of good triggers on that with Sweeping Strike and Bolt Over. And then he has a Leap, which is really good. And yeah, I've just been enjoying playing him because he's just very mobile and can cause a lot of problems for your opponents.
Yep. And I mean, it's just, that's a strength of their faction. They have really good mobility, doing high damage. It's just that everything under the sun will hit them. That's the thing that everybody has to be aware of. Is like, yeah, Resurrectionists seem super oppressive because they almost always get the alpha and they hit really hard. But so you can hit them with everything.
Yeah, it's good. Can I mention something really random in like 10 Thunders real quick?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to 10 Thunders, so go for it.
So I played against Brody, who is playing Story, correct? He put the Silent Protector upgrade on Jade Rabbit.
Yeah, yep. So I was going to mention that too.
So I did not know that it is lucky even in opposed duels, meaning if it hits you with something, you're at a negative when it hits you.
Yes.
So he challenged Archie.
Yes.
And Archie was mentally challenged the rest of that turn.
I mean, it's kind of funny. It's a double whammy because like Archie will not die for the rest of the turn, but you have to discard cards every single time.
Yeah.
Photon, I'm glad that you finally caught on with the rest of... No, I'm just kidding. I just
found that out last night. I was like, that is really gross.
Yeah, I was going to make a bigger joke out of it, but yes, the Jade Rabbit Silent Protector thing is doing the rounds in the MWS server. It is almost cancer. You have to accept it. It's just gonna happen.
If it wasn't Archie, I would have felt a lot worse because I think I ended up just going to drop a scheme marker somewhere and sit on the back marker. But if I wanted to, if I had the cards, I could have just jumped into somebody if I was wounded enough and just discard to heal, hit you, discard to heal, hit you.
Yeah. And again, 10 Thunders has multiple other models that can do other jobs. So like having your totem have a 2-point upgrade that does this for disruption, that's amazing in my opinion.
So what do you think they got as far as beater schemers? I think Sun Wukong and Raijin are pretty good.
Yeah, there's I want to say there's five that are really good. There's Kenshiro, Sun Wukong, uh, whatchamacallit, you just said it, Jesus. Raijin, the Dawn Serpent, that's another one. And I can't remember the last one when I was looking through it. But yeah, those alone are really good. What do you think? Oh,
no,
the
I
emissary
agree.
himself?
Yeah, I agree with those. I would say the story ones are specifically the Monkey King. He is
Yes.
so mobile, and his damage track is, it's not the like most glorious damage track, but it's consistent enough with a 2-inch reach that, he can take. He's either going to kill what he needs to or bring it back to his crew to kill it. It's kind
Yes.
of like those
And Speed
monkeys
of the
that
Meat.
steal things from the tourists, and then they like make
Yep.
them exchange things to get their stuff back. It's kind of what he's doing.
The Speed of the Meteor, I just want to point out, is probably on the same level as like Loisa's Claim to Land. So
It's real good.
that's one of the abilities they have to keep. Yeah, you have to definitely keep that in mind. It's not on the same
That's
level,
how
but it
Seamus
is
got
so
killed
close.
last night.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, he's well, not with Speed the Meteor specifically. He Speed the Meteor, and then he did Journey to the West to Seamus to then get Seamus into the middle of his crew.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so rough.
Yep. Seamus was like, "Hello, love," and died.
Yep. So yeah, I would say before the Sung Wukong came in, Dawn of Serpent was actually not a bad pick as an enforcer out of keyword because it's super mobile and it can heal itself back up. So there's ways there.
And here's why I want to make also a case for Raijin, just because even out of activation, he can ping people for damage and possibly hand out stunned. But then
Yep.
also on top of that, he has maddening drums, so he can remove other scheme markers and crap.
Oh yeah.
He has
Oh
a good
yeah. If
shockwave with Thunderstruck. Tempest 2-3-4 is pretty decent, and then his bonus is just to heal himself up. So he's able to kind of move around. His crew moves him around, and he just kind of causes chaos.
Yes, and the only reason why I wouldn't say that this guy's a beater schemer is because he likes being around other friendly models.
Yeah,
But he's a fantastic piece. If you have any movement shenanigans in your crew, in Ten Thunders, get this model because every single time you bump him like an inch or two, once per activation, he forces a duel that does 1 damage and stun if you fail it. Like
yeah,
that is insanely good.
yeah. It's really good. All right, so what are we going back now, and are we doing henchmen and minions at the same
Yeah,
time, or
dude,
what?
it's super fast and people want to know. Oh, give me 1 second.
Jade Rabbit with Silent Protector. What do we still got here? Okay, cool. Yeah, so yep. Gonna see where this all goes, but a lot of 10 Thunders are just really good with all the story models. Story's so good they don't even need out of keyword or versatile picks. Just get those boxes and play games and win. Oh, well, hopefully the chat y'all are doing well and enjoying the conversation between. I love bantering with Dixon. He just sometimes he's so all over the place, and we just the miscommunication sometimes.
What happened?
No, you're good. Just waiting on you. Just
Oh,
chatting with the chat.
chatting with the chat.
Yeah, I told him the miscommunication sometimes between you and I is part of the fun.
Oh, yeah, it is. I mean,
What are you
it's part
talking
of the
about?
charm.
I would
All
say
right,
so.
so let's see.
So are we doing henchmen now
Minion.
or minions?
I thought it was minion.
We
You
can
want to do
minions.
henchman? Let's do henchman real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do henchman.
Okay. So
I mean, this
running
is
down
where
henchmen.
yeah, this is like easy peasy as well because I think this is where the main power for all the factions is. I don't know about you. Do you think that there's factions where I guess Archie may be toppling that in Resurrectionist, but I'm not even sure. What do you think?
Yeah, give me
Pete?
1 sec. Henchman. Yeah. What?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, we can go through the henchmen for each faction.
Yeah, it's super fast. I mean, starting from top to bottom, Carlos. Like, I don't think you disagree with that. And freaking, what? What's up?
I'm just checking to. Yeah, I'd probably, if I had to pick a henchman for them, I probably would say Carlos. But I mean, his damage isn't great, but I think he can definitely kill stuff when he needs to.
Really? You don't think that his damage is great?
I mean, he's 2/2/3. You can get crit strike in there, so I'm saying it's solid. And then he has also Breath of Fire. But out of the
Yeah.
list, I think he's definitely the one.
Yeah, 445 is usually when he goes in to kill something. That's what I see. It's either 445 or 334. That's the
Yeah, and the
damage
extra,
strike.
extra movement with his bonus is really good as well.
Exactly, and because he also hands out distracted and fire with every hit, it shockingly it makes it so that it's like, okay, I guess I'm dying at the end of the turn, even if I stone or whatever.
Yep. So I'd agree with that for Arcanist. What are you thinking for Bayou Henchman?
This is where Bayou makes its money, I think, in terms of beater schemer.
Yeah, because
I'd
you got the
say
first mate.
Well, that's the first one, but like, there's the first mate. There's freaking Lenny with the Lenny slide. There's also Sammy, which shockingly can just at range be a giant nuisance. And then the king of all, Uncle Bog.
Yeah, I mean Bog just putting down a scheme marker with Weary Road.
Yep.
He can summon a Gator to help you scheme if you really want to. Off the path
Yep.
to move your models around, and 2/3/5 damage to heal himself when he gets in trouble is pretty good.
I mean, he constantly is hit. He like I have gotten this man to like 2 health, and he goes right back up like 4 to 6, 4 to 6 health. Yeah, and in the following activation, it's so annoying. I obey him constantly so he can bite somebody and heals. Yeah, Uncle Bog. I think it's the king in that category.
In certain situations, I would also throw Bo Peep's hat into the ring there.
Also true.
Specifically, if I want her to fight, I'm usually going to put her in something that abuses something like Maw Tucket with pit traps, and then just whip people into the pit traps so that makes her attack min 3.
Yeah, because that's the thing with Bayou. Their damage tricks are not usually high off the bat, but they have like many dirty tricks with terrain
Yeah.
and stuff. So I agree with that.
Okay. What about Explorers?
I was having problems with this one as well. After they nerf the Iron Matron, I still think it's the Iron Matron, and that's probably because people are not trying to play Model 9. I want to play Model 9, and that would be my personal pick, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either. I think Model 9, it spikes pretty good at 2/4/5. And even its throwing knives aren't bad. I actually was surprised. I played against Corvus Rook recently where he did some work. Because you can ping yourself for damage for draw out secrets, so that helps with a lot of the schemes. So I actually had it where I got staggering punch twice. I took like 4 or 5 damage, and then I had 2 scheme markers, and I had to activate the model next. And hey, I got ensnared for that VP, so that was pretty good. So I would say somewhere in
Yeah.
between that. I probably lean towards Iron Matron still, specifically in keyword Iron Matron because she moves a crap ton with that crew.
Yeah, that's why I like those are the 2 picks that I would say because exactly that.
Yep. All right. What about the guild?
Guild, same second verse, same as the first. I think they value more like one pick shared across every faction. So probably Loiza Fusi and Melissa Core. What do you think?
Huh.
You see what I mean? Like they're
I've
not like
never seen
high
Luisa.
damaging,
I never seen Luisa kill anything.
right? But she is like, you know what I mean? It's like somehow she is
I've-
this disgusting piece that will do whatever it needs to be
I've
done.
killed more with Allison Dade than I have Luisa.
Okay, so I'll remove her as a beater schemer, but she's such a insanely good schemer that even beater schemers are struggling stopping her.
Yeah, because like guild's kind of weird because I'm looking at a lot of these models and they're either insanely good at scheming or insanely good at damage.
Correct.
for the henchmen.
And the reason why I
so-
said Melissa Core is because what?
Yeah, good. Yeah, good.
No, the reason why I mentioned Melissa Core is like the running gun on her gun and her damage strike of 246 with an extra blast. I've seen her just violently destroy schemers going into a point on her way there.
Yeah, and transfer power is really good for that extra like movement because she can, you know, she can run and gun. She can move an extra 2 inches, so she does scoot around the board pretty good.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So I'd probably lean that way. There's some other options in keyword that are probably okay, but yeah, I don't think I disagree with your picks. I think we can move on to Neverborn.
Yeah, they're just like they don't have many choices. It's just more in all right. We have these two choices, and they're freaking insane.
So for Neverborn, I think I have a pick, and I don't think there's a close one to it.
No kidding. Who do you think?
It's going to be the man that I have learned to hate, and that is Klaus.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like,
my two picks.
He is so ridiculous because he actually does a lot of damage too.
He does. Yeah, he does. Like surprisingly, his 1-3-4 actually hits that 3 more often than not because him being a friendly model makes it so that he bypasses a whole bunch of negative stuff.
Well, and it's not only that; he also has press for information, which can do some damage to you. Even his incessant questioning is really good.
Yeah, that's why the 1-3-4 came. But what about my other two picks, which was Hinamatsu and Widow Weaver?
Hinamatsu's fine because she can kind of really scoot around.
Yeah,
I agree with the Widow Weaver.
Yeah.
Usually you're going to see the Widow Weaver Bandersnatch combo.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because like we had a game recently. Like you won the game, but Hinamatsu fought the Dead Rider, and what was the other model? It was 2 models that she fought. She lost to the second one, but she killed the first one. It was like Dead Rider.
I think it was the Valedictorian.
No, Manos. Manos was the second one. And she put
right.
Manos down to like 4 health. So she did a lot of good job before she went down, but she did go down eventually.
Yeah, because she's movement 6. She can get +2 to that. She has a lot of nasty little tricks to help her win the day.
Yep. So those are the 3. In keyword, Lord Chompy Bits, he cannot be ignored. You just can't ignore Chompy.
No, you can't.
It's so good.
All right, Outcasts. This one's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we have like all the good ones. We have Eric, Barbaros, we have freaking Mad Dog Bracket, Montresor. Like, there's a lot here. Rusty Alice, if you really need a good gun.
Outcasts lean heavy on the beating part of it, though.
You don't think that? Oh, I see what you mean. So they are mostly beaters.
Yeah, so if I was going to pick some of these for, like, they all hit pretty hard. But...
And you don't consider them schemer. Why don't you consider them in the part of the schemer side?
Well, because they want to spend their actions hitting you. Like, I know Eric, it doesn't feel good if I got to interact with Eric, right? Like, I want to punch something and do, like, 8 damage to them. Okay. Same thing with Barbaros. I don't think you want to scheme with him.
Yeah, but they get there fast, and then they can use the action to do that. I don't know. I'm not convinced 100%, but I definitely agree with you that they are very much beaters first.
I would say, honestly, the Scion of the Void's pretty good in a lot of situations.
I mean, if you can bury it in keyword, I agree.
Yeah, in keyword. I'm not talking like Scion out of keyword because it can scheme. It can, hit things that are buried for like 3 damage.
Yeah, but that's the reason why all of these models are great regardless of keywords, the one that I mentioned. And then if you add in keyword specific, then yeah, Scion definitely goes in there. Taylor's a great pick too. Jeremy says in the chat. Taylor's maybe the other option because she's mobile enough to get out of there. Yeah. Eric with the teleporting diving charge. Yeah, that's not bad.
It's kind of funny when we do a podcast, and because we didn't, like I said, I didn't take time to really analyze a lot of this stuff, but now that I'm like breaking it down by henchmen, which is good on you, Dixon, for making us do this. I'm sitting here looking at the Outcast henchmen, being like, man, these guys like to punch you in the face really hard.
Oh yeah, and like for example, Mad Dog. Just think about in general, Mad Dog. He eats scheme markers. He is not very easy to take down unless you have like some willpower attack, and because of run and gun, like you have to put him in melee constantly.
Yeah.
And if you're not very good at that, he's just gonna roll through your other schemers.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know which one of these I would pick as a schemer over the others. A beater schemer. They're all really good at beating, and they can scheme. So there's that, I guess. Maybe Benny just for the anti-scheming.
Benny, I mean the same thing. If you don't have the points for Mad Dog, then yeah, you can bring in Benny, and Benny will do something similar.
All right, so Rezzers. I mean, I think a lot of this is going to be. I don't know. They don't really have a good beater schemer, do they?
Manos the legend. Come on now, Manos the legend. Valedictorian can incidentally do scheming. You have played her a lot.
Yeah, I think it's mostly Manos.
Yeah, it's mostly Manos for sure. But like the Valedictorian's not a bad choice. Vincent's not a bad choice. Anna's not a bad choice. Datsueba's not a bad choice. They can do the job.
I was surprised. Being movement 6, Datsuba was actually a pretty cool little choice when I did the tech guide, tech pick there.
Correct.
It was pretty good.
Moving 12 inches. Yeah, like she doesn't have whatchamacallit, leap, but she's a ghost. So she just goes right through everything 12 inches. Yeah. Just little things like
here. And then looking at 10 Thunders. I don't know, Bill's pretty good.
Nah. Bill's great as a stand in one place and beat the crap out of you, but Amano Sako. Okay. Holy crap, Amano Sako.
Why do you like Amazako?
We were talking about her when it was like, oh, how do you deal with Kruligans? And he's like, oh, you can get Amano Sako because she gets double positive on hit and damage. I was like, holy crap, she can do triple on the hit and then double on the damage, positives. That's how insane she is.
Yeah, and it's movement 6.
Yep, and she can obey herself with a bonus action.
Yeah, Dark Bargain's pretty good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so yeah, she's a great pick.
I also like Kitty, too, for a beater schemer.
Well, she has the same problem as, what's-her-face, Loiza. So that's my experience with her. But yeah, she can do damage. Yeah,
yeah. I don't think it's overly impressive, but
I'm sorry?
I said I don't think it's super impressive, but you could do that with her. And then you said Desper.
Yeah, Desper. But the big issue with Desper is like his stat 5 makes it so that people can match on him a lot. But double critical strike on Desper is actually something that you cannot ignore because he'll do 6 damage ignoring armor, and that's gross.
I would also say that a beater schemer that this one's a little weird because it's not like a traditional beater schemer that you would think of is Minako Ray, because she can summon those stupid puppets.
Yes.
So she's pretty decent because she can spend her AP to scheme, and then she can summon a shadow or one of those whatever puppets.
Yeah.
Katashiros, there we go. And then those things go all over the place in scheme.
Yeah. If you spend turn 1 just summoning Katashiro and then have her get into a point from turn 3 and on, so it might be slow, but I have seen
it's a slow play.
Where all of a sudden she's like, oh, turn 3, she's killing a model, getting fast, getting to the point, and scoring a point. Like, it's just like, wait, when did this start? Like, why is she here?
Because, and you got to think, a lot of times she's not like a heavy target because people are scared about, they'll
upgrade. Yeah.
Well, they're scared about the master, they're scared about a Toto, and they don't want to get smashed in the face. And then it's like, oh yeah, by the way, here's these puppets in your face.
Yep. I agree with that too. Yeah. The only other 2 choices that I can see that are fast enough to get to the point and do some good damage, but it's not like fantastic. There's Betty, Ohaguro Betari, the Oni. She has diving charge. She has 2-3-5 with puncture. So she can get that 5 damage very reliably. So that's not one to ignore. The other one being Tom Guan, which we all hate because he's fast. He's on a horse. He can teleport 6 inches to somebody else that's already in combat. That guy's insane. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen him out of keyword a lot.
Oh yeah, turns out he's good.
Yep, yep. And those would be my choices. It's not, again, there's like 3 or 4 choices which are all great, but like you can't just ban one keyword and hit all of them.
All right, and then we finally got to the minions. So going back to Arcanist with minions that are good beater schemers.
So this is the hard part. Like, I don't even know exactly any minion in Arcanist that's actually fit in this category. There's a lot of schemers, but not beater schemers.
I mean, it used to be the Sabretooth, right?
Yeah, yes. Holy crap, you're right. It used to be, but he's
But
now
stock
completely
prey is
gone.
very clunky now, so that's harder to do.
That's crazy. I completely forgot about that model now because I haven't seen him that much.
What do you think of?
I guess it's
What do
still
you
the Swarm, right?
I was either gonna say the Swarm or the Soulstone Miner are pretty good at that.
Huh. Actually, that actually answers the question. Yeah. Soulstone Miner, I was about to say, but you're right. It is both. Soulstone Miners and the Swarm. Both of them are great beater schemers for Arcanist.
Yeah, because it's
I
like you
definitely
said, they pop up. Their damage track is decent. Decent triggers. They get you soul stones. They can use their bonus to interact if you need them to.
Yeah, actually, the Swarm with the upgrade that does Diesel Engine, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's pricey, but it's good.
Gee, isn't it like just 10 points for that
Yeah,
one model?
it makes them 10.
Yeah, but they're like height 1, which is disgusting. If you actually know how to abuse terrain, Shadow.
I had it in last GG where I scored 3 VPs with the Steam Arachnid Swarm in turn 2.
Yep.
It was good.
Yep. Yeah, you're paying 10 points for a 9 health model that is defense 5, willpower 4. But holy crap, does this thing to work if you can deliver it at least to one
because it's a
round of combat.
It's a 3-inch move off of Diesel, and then you get a 5-inch move off your walk for your bonus, and then you got 10 inches for profit, whatever you want to do there.
Yeah, so yeah, the Steam Arachnid Swarm beater schemer that we definitely should be watching out for, and you cannot ban, so it's super important. And then the other one is Soulstone Miner for the exact same reason.
Yep. All right, on to Bayou. I mean, I said Wild Boar earlier.
Yeah, you did say Wild Boar, and I don't disagree with any of the things that you said. So I guess Wild Boar and War Pig as a honorable mention.
I will also. Yeah, War Pigs are really good too. But dude, I will have to say, seeing this some more, Buckaroos are really good.
You're saying Buckaroos. I mean, I would put the Bushwhacker before the Buckaroo on the table.
Well, the Buckaroos are more mobile because they have Onward, and anytime you move through it, you possibly ping a model for damage. And 2, 3, 4 is what it is, but they're pretty good. I wouldn't play them out of keyword though, but in keyword, they're pretty good.
Yeah. Yep. For sure.
All right, minions for explorers.
In Explorers, actually, I need to test this out, but I think it's a stupid Umbra model that's like 8 points.
The Deva?
No, Brock Inspector, but the Deva is really great too.
The Brock Inspector?
Yeah, it has Death Touch, and it's defense 6, willpower 5, and it always has concealing.
Yeah, I'll give you them or the Devas. They're pretty good. I don't think you can go wrong with a Botanist in the right crew.
I agree with the Botanist. The Botanist is really great at scheming, but I don't think it kills, though.
Not very easily.
Yeah, so that's the main reason why I'm not, like, convinced with the Botanist for the Beater Schemer side. But yeah, Devas definitely for sure. For the same reason that I said Brock Inspector.
I think if you play Ivan, this is a good GG for it. Those minions are really good.
Oh yeah, especially because you can summon them, and yeah, that alone is great. Like the Deva alone, I just played against Jeremy, I want to say like a week ago, and he destroyed me with literally summoning Devas into specific points, and just they started killing my schemers with like very little.
Loki Brain's like, Botanists don't do anything, they don't kill anything, they just sustain.
He's not wrong. I agree with that.
That's true. I don't know if I've ever seen a Botanist kill anything useful.
Yeah, but those are the two the two big picks in terms of beater schemers. I would not put Botanist in that category because they
Sure.
survive like the apocalypse, but they don't
They don't kill anything. Going over to Guild then.
This was tricky.
Yeah, this
in
is tricky
keyword,
now I'm looking at
executioners.
it. They don't scheme though,
sorry?
man.
Bruh, they eat scheme markers.
Yeah, they eat. I guess if you, I don't know. Let me look here.
Yeah, mounted guard, executioners, like pretty much the entire guard key.
Oh no, I have them. I have a model. I'm gonna. Where
Which
is
one?
it? Well, you could say Rocketeers are pretty decent at it. They'll slowly get
Oh my
you
god,
there.
yes, I forgot about them. You know that I think about those models as freaking enforcers, and that's a mistake on my part. They're definitely.
But here's
not.
the beater schemer minion that I think people just need to bring because they're freaking good. Is just hunters. They're just good.
Oh, the robot hunters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
That is a
fast.
true- yeah.
They have deadly pursuit. They're armor 2. They have a 2/3/5 with crit strike that they can build in if they're near Hoffman. They're just good. They're mobile.
Yeah.
They kill stuff.
So this is actually shockingly opposite to the other two. When in an enforcers and in henchmen, they have like one or two good choices. In this one, they just have like multiple great choices. So it's kind of weird to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's probably where I would go for that, definitely.
Yeah, Rocketeers number 1, then the Hunters in Augmented, then the Mounted Guard, and then finally the Executioners. And there's probably more after that, but those are the like incredibly good picks.
All right, and then over to Nevaborn.
Mature Nephilim, Calvin Nephilim.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just put all the Nephilim models in there.
Just put all the Nephilim into that list. Yeah, young Nephilim also are great. Really, there's I don't know about you, but I couldn't find anything that was not great in the top end of that category.
What do you think about the new Razor Spine Rattler? Mobile, schemy, not kill enough?
I remember it was great for moving the thing around back in GG3. I haven't tried them out yet. I have to do that because they're not bad.
Yeah, I think though mostly it's Nephilim. They're just so mobile and they can kill the crap out of you or go scheme.
Yeah, I mean I don't know if I would categorize the snake as a beater schemer, but
Yeah.
it is incredibly mobile.
Yeah, I think we can just leave it at the Nephilim. They're just really good.
Yeah, just pick a random young Nephilim, any other Nephilim that are not Lilu and Lilitu.
And then we have our Outcast. Do Outcasts have minions?
I want to say the Ronin.
Yeah,
They're still great.
Oh yeah, Ronin are fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think that we'll ever not see the Ronin be decent at the very least.
Yeah, let me see if there's. I think it's Ronin, but I'm gonna see if there's anything else here.
Yeah, I think it's just Ronin, really. Like everything else that I'm looking at.
You could argue maybe some of Von Schill's minions because you can put boots on them.
I know for
terrible.
a fact that the sniper with the rocket launcher is one of the most disgusting combos you can do in free court, and I don't see it often enough.
Yeah. So I would say it's one of Von Schill's, but I'm definitely saying Ronin are super good. They have armor piercing, they're mobile, they're just good.
Yeah, I mean, they get most of their value from basically everything else in their crews. Like their henchmen, are they just so expensive that probably they push out all the minions out of the way.
Well, Ronin don't just have battle tempo to get a 2-inch push during the start phase, but then when they activate, they get another 3-inch push because they have on the move. And they have flurry,
Sir?
so...
It's not
Just
a
good.
push, it's a move. I say it's not a push, it's a move.
Yeah, even better. Reser
Back to
minions.
Resers. Oh, look at that, the hanged.
I was going to say Kruligans.
Kruligan, also, they kill 8-point models like it was their job. It's shocking to see.
They can kill masters, man. I don't know what I'm going headhunting.
No, but you get my point. They're a 4-point minion that can kill 8-point models if they don't have soul stones.
When we
basically
played,
as a
they
joke.
killed Sadir, they
Right.
killed Desper, And I think they killed
Yes.
something else. I can't remember. It was just brutal.
Yeah, I mean the whatchamacallit, the thing with Sadir is it was like a combination of bad luck because he is defense 7 basically against them. So I have bad luck on there.
Yeah. Yeah, what was the other one that you said?
Oh, I said the hang. I mean, there's more. Like it's Resurrectionist.
What do you think about... Let me ask you this. What do you think about Shacombs?
Shakom, good. I don't know about. Actually, they're great summons. I don't know how I feel about them bought though. But
Well, because
they are
they
not
have the
bad.
top... They have Puncture, and on the top end, they do 6 damage.
Yeah, no, as a summon, I agree that they will be fantastic at the job. But like, I don't know if paying the 7 stones is actually worth it for them.
I saw a list where somebody paid the 7 stones, and they gave them the upgrade to give them Deadly Pursuit and whatever the thing is to get a Soul Stone out of a corpse.
Okay. Okay.
And it gives
I
them,
gotcha. I mean,
and it gives them Ruthless. So I saw somebody put that on there. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, because they're move 7, right? So they're fast
yes.
with flying.
Mhm.
They have challenge, which is good because you can challenge somebody and fly away. And then 2, 3, 6 with puncture, armor piercing, pretty decent. Stat 6.
Yeah. No, I played it with them and against them. It's just they're squishy enough that like
Sure.
maybe that's where I would be. Yeah, it's just that argument right there. It's just like, okay, they have like no defensive value other than if you hit me and I live, you take damage. So that's it.
Yeah.
But no, like you got way more better choices in my opinion outside of keyword than them.
Also, Student of Viscera, they're pretty good.
Yeah, Pseudo Viscera. That was that was one of my other picks. The Flesh Construct on keyword with McMorning 2 is disgusting and a fantastic beater schemer. The freaking Guaisen, they punch up all the time. They're like a 6-point minion that can shoot, and I mean, they can take down a 8-point minion fairly easily. The Hang, we already talked about. The Lampats, in keyword, just horrifying creatures. I don't know if you
They
play
are.
against Lampats, but they
Oh,
are
yeah.
horrifying creatures.
Yeah, they're like
And,
impossible to kill,
the
and they
Necro-
just don't go away.
Yeah, and then that's it. The Necropunks are fine. Chikome is fine. But yeah, all the other ones that we mentioned are just gold, and they're not necessarily expensive.
Yep. And then moving over to 10 Thunders minions.
This one's hard for me. I don't usually go for minions, and it used to be that you just say samurai and then answer this question. But how would you feel?
If I'm kind of answering this from a Rezer perspective as well because I can use Gokudo. I kind of like Gokudo in keyword. Just because they're retainer, they're fast. Because when you put the upgrade on them, they're speed 7, and they can move and get focused. And they're solid, and they can kill stuff because they're just fast and can pick out their targets
Yeah.
and stuff. Other models though,
Yeah, but I wonder if like
I don't know.
yeah,
I feel like
was gonna say,
Katashiro are
they
pretty
probably
good.
just rely. You say what? Katashiro?
Yeah, Katashiro are pretty good.
I mean, when they're summoned, I agree, but like outside of that, I was gonna point out the monkeys and Oni in keyword are also
Yeah.
super gross.
Yeah, I forget what they're called though.
I think they're called
Yokai?
yokai. Yeah, yokai.
Yeah, they're super good.
Yep. Because like they can just attack multiple times. So yeah, their damage track is only 2, 3, 4, and stat 5 to hit. But if you've ever seen one of these monkeys just go ham on something, my lord, dude, this is disgusting.
What do you think about Jeremy saying Wandering River Monks?
What happened?
I said, what do you think about Wandering River Monks?
Wandering River Monks don't kill, but they are fantastic at like scheming. So it's the same thing I put with like Thunder Archers. Thunder Archers are incredible at killing, but not necessarily scheming. So like they're very good specialist models in 10 Thunders.
What do you think about Tanuki?
Who?
Tanuki?
They don't do anything. They just heal.
I think you mean they just die.
Tanuki? No.
just-
They do stuff. I'm sorry, they're support models. They just don't. They're not beater schemers. There's nothing beater schemer about them.
They're super beaters, man. What are you talking about?
Tanuki. quit smoking that crack, bro. Yeah, but that's it. Literally, the monkeys would be the closest thing to a beater schemer that I would hire.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm just looking real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
mean,
that's
Jorogumo-
probably about right.
Yeah, Jorogumo is like the other model if you can deliver them, but they're not mobile by themselves. So in
Yeah.
keyword, Jorogumo are scary.
It's true.
But that's it.
I think we got the list there, man.
I know. I mean, I knew it wasn't gonna take that long. That's the reason why I wanted to go through them.
Yeah, it's just I think it's going to be an interesting GG because I think those models are the ones that are going to really get you the victories in this this gaining grounds. Just because, like I said, you need to be mobile enough, especially when you get into like flank and corner deployment. You really need some of those mobile models to get out on those flanks.
Yeah, yep. And it's kind of interesting because like there's not that many ways to hide outside of like being completely behind a building nowadays.
Well, let me ask you this because I don't think this tactic has worked as well in people that I have seen do it. So, and this is talking specifically on flank and corner deployment. It can happen on the other ones, but I've seen it more on those. And I've seen it where people did not they just give up on a flake, they abandon it.
Yes.
So they basically sit in the center and they shadow kind of like either the left or right side, but then they just give up the entire other flank. Because, if you're a bubble crew or if you want to bunch up and hang out and get all your aura benefits, you can't do that if you spread out across the whole board. And I've just found that crews that do that or people that make the decision to do that type of tactic with those crews, I don't think it tends to work out as well because if I have a more mobile crew, I can just go get VPs without being contested.
So I've fallen into that trap. So I want to agree with you. I fall into the trap that like I'm gonna go and split my crew into two. I'm gonna have this go this way. Oh no, I lost every model in that side of the table, and I have outflank. I have lost the game. So yeah, with the little experience that I have right now, trying to pull outflank out, I don't know. I don't know how to optimize it yet. I mean, I've seen you do it reliably though.
Yeah, I think when you have these beater schemers, it just makes it easier for you to attack the whole board as opposed to I have to just take this half of the board. So that's why I like stuff like, Archie and stuff like Monos and the Rider because I can adjust, and if I see an opening to score VP on like your deployment zone or on the opposite flank, I can make some drastic moves to get over that way to score points when it pops up. Whereas if I feel like if I was playing something like Von Stuck, where I want to be in a bubble, it's harder to get to those far corners in corner deployment and flank deployment.
Okay, I see that.
So I think that's why, I don't think that automatically loses you the game, but I do think more mobile, flexible crews can take advantage of those situations better.
Yeah, I still think that if you're picking out flank and you're spreading your crew, especially if you're in diagonal, then you're kind of putting those 2 points completely on your model winning the fights at the corners. Yeah, because nowadays you always want to be mobile. You want to be on the move, and sometimes you just can't make it there.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, but I think crews that can be mobile and go in different directions or can react with that very mobile model that they're bringing or models that they're bringing definitely have the leg up in a lot of these pools.
Yeah, yep. I definitely have to practice my my Titania more because I think that Titania 2 specifically has game in ballots.
Gosh, and she has a lot of fast models too.
Yeah, because she can deliver them. Once they are there, they are now beaters, and they will stay
you
there.
you played the Bo Tungan, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot these were models.
Yeah, no, they're not easy to kill. I think that my Bo Tungan survived every game that we played. I think I lost one Bo Tungan to Jeremy, and the other one still did work. Yeah, Jeremy. Yeah, I remember that. Jeremy summoned a Deva right on top of a Tungan and just beat the crap out of it over the course of 2 turns.
Yeah, seems
That
pretty
was
good.
so funny. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think people just need to kind of keep exploring some of these quicker models that can, actually do the strategy and schemes, and just kind of interact. You don't always have to punch something in the face. Sometimes interacting is better than punching,
Yeah, that's true.
which is why beater schemers are good because you have the option.
Mhm.
I mean, how many times there's some games where I play Archie and I don't actually punch anything. Like
because we leave you alone. No,
Well,
I
yeah,
literally just leave him alone sometimes. Like, Archie, you can stay over there.
Yeah, and sometimes Archie's just happy, licking his ice cream cone and picking up flowers. Look at the flowers, Archie. Look at the flowers.
Oh, that's so funny.
He's over there in right field eating dirt. That's why I love Archie, though. It's just I like these flexible models. It makes the games very interesting. Well, anything else you want to say, Dixon, before we wrap this thing up?
No, I'm definitely looking forward to this this summer when we start going into each of the strats.
Yeah. I think when we do our Gaining Grounds 4 for each faction, that'll definitely be fun once the meta kind of shakes itself out of here a little bit.
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Like I'm looking at the tournament scene very closely.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all coming on, and hopefully you got something out of the models we discussed. We definitely, like I said, Dixon and I play a lot of games, and we play against a lot of different types of people, so it's good to kind of share some of these early experiences that we've had against this stuff. But until next time, make sure that you guys are flipping cards, flipping tables, and we will see you all later.